Have you ever looked out the window of a train or stood near a railroad crossing and noticed something strange? The tracks aren't sitting directly on the ground. Instead, they're surrounded by thousands of rough stones, everywhere, under the tracks, beside the tracks, stretching for miles in every direction. Most people never think twice about them. They just seem like part of the railway. But those rocks are actually one of the most important parts of the entire system, because without them, railroad tracks would slowly sink, bend, shift, and eventually become incredibly dangerous. In fact, those simple stones help support machines weighing thousands of tons moving at high speeds. And the deeper you look, the more fascinating the reason becomes. Welcome back to Surprising Facts: Two Histories. Modern trains are unbelievably heavy. A single locomotive can weigh over 200 tons, and freight trains often carry thousands of tons behind them. All of that weight presses down onto the tracks constantly. But there's another problem: movement. As trains travel, they create vibration, pressure, impact, and shifting forces, especially at high speeds. Without support underneath, the rails would slowly move out of alignment, and even tiny misalignments can become extremely dangerous for trains. At first, early railways struggled badly with this problem. Tracks were often placed directly on dirt or weak foundations, and over time, rain, vibration, and repeated weight caused the ground to shift. Tracks became unstable, uneven, sometimes even sinking into mud. Engineers needed a way to create a surface that was strong, stable, drainable, and flexible at the same time, which sounds almost impossible. But the solution turned out to be surprisingly simple: crushed stone. The stones along railway tracks are called ballast, and they do far more than most people realize. First, they spread out the enormous weight of trains. Instead of all that pressure sinking directly into the ground, the stones distribute the force more evenly across a wider area. But that's only part of the job. The stones also lock the wooden or concrete sleepers, sometimes called railroad ties, firmly in place. This prevents the tracks from shifting sideways as trains pass over them. And there's another huge advantage: drainage. Rainwater is extremely dangerous for railways. If water collects underneath the tracks, the soil becomes soft and unstable. That can cause tracks to sink or move over time. But crushed stone contains gaps between the rocks. Water flows through those gaps easily instead of collecting underneath. And engineers specifically use jagged crushed rocks instead of smooth stones for an important reason. Sharp-edged rocks grip together tightly. Smooth rocks would slide around too easily under pressure, which means those rough-looking stones are actually carefully chosen engineering tools, not random gravel. At first, railway ballast seems old-fashioned. After all, modern trains are incredibly advanced. So why are railroads still using rocks? Because, surprisingly, very few materials work better. Ballast is strong, relatively cheap, easy to replace, excellent for drainage, and highly effective at absorbing vibration. Those stones actually help reduce some of the massive vibrations created by moving trains. Without them, the force transferred into the ground would be much worse. And railways constantly maintain the ballast using giant maintenance machines. Over time, the rocks slowly break down under pressure and vibration. So engineers periodically clean, replace, and redistribute them to keep the tracks stable. Some high-speed rail systems now use concrete foundations instead of traditional ballast. But across much of the world, crushed stone remains one of the most reliable railway foundations ever created. A surprisingly simple solution to an enormous engineering problem. So, why are there stones along railway tracks? Because trains generate incredible weight, pressure, and vibration. And those rough stones quietly help spread the load, stabilize the rails, absorb movement, and drain water away safely. Without them, railroad tracks would quickly become unstable and dangerous. Which means the next time you stand near a railway crossing, hearing the rumble of a passing train. You might remember that those ordinary-looking rocks underneath are one of the main reasons the entire system stays standing at all.